Welcome to California Bar Prep, your study companion for the California Bar exam. In this lesson, defamation, privacy, nuisance, and high-yield defenses. Let's begin. Defamation, privacy, and nuisance protect interests that are less tangible than broken bones, but heavily tested. Defamation protects reputation. Privacy torts protect dignity, solitude, likeness, and freedom from offensive publicity. Nuisance protects use and enjoyment of land or public rights. These topics are rule-heavy because constitutional law, privileges, and damages rules overlay common law tort principles. The MBE uses First Amendment limits in defamation whenever speech involves public officials, public figures, or matters of public concern. California recognizes robust anti-SLAPP procedure and practice, but bar essays usually focus on substantive defamation, privacy, and comparative fault principles unless procedure is cued. Defamation. Plaintiff must prove defamatory language of or concerning plaintiff, publication to a third person, fault, and damages. A statement is defamatory if it tends to harm reputation. Publication means communication to someone other than plaintiff. Constitutional fault. Public officials and public figures must prove actual malice for statements related to public matters, knowledge of falsity, or reckless disregard for truth. Private plaintiffs involving matters of public concern must prove at least negligence as to falsity and actual injury. Presumed or punitive damages require actual malice. Defamation per se. At common law, damages are presumed for statements concerning crime, loathsome disease, professional incompetence or misconduct, and serious sexual misconduct. Written defamation is libel. Spoken defamation is slander, with per se categories avoiding special damages. Defamation defenses. Truth. Complete defense. Plaintiff often bears burden of falsity in constitutional cases involving public concern. Opinion. Pure opinion not implying false facts is protected. A statement framed as opinion may still be actionable if it implies undisclosed defamatory facts. Absolute privileges. Statements in judicial proceedings, legislative proceedings, some executive communications, and between spouses are absolutely privileged if within scope. Qualified privileges. References, reports to authorities, common interest communications, and fair reports may be privileged unless abused by malice, excessive publication, or lack of belief. Privacy torts. Appropriation. Unauthorized use of plaintiff's name, likeness, or identity for defendant's commercial advantage. Intrusion upon seclusion. Intentional intrusion into plaintiff's private affairs or solitude in a manner highly offensive to a reasonable person. No publication required. Public disclosure of private facts. Public disclosure of private facts about plaintiff that would be highly offensive and not of legitimate public concern. False light. Widespread attribution of views or facts placing plaintiff in a false light highly offensive to a reasonable person. Constitutional actual malice may apply for matters of public interest. Nuisance. Private nuisance. Substantial and unreasonable interference with plaintiff's use and enjoyment of land. Interference may be intentional, negligent, reckless, or result from abnormally dangerous activity. Public nuisance. Unreasonable interference with a right common to the general public such as public health, safety, morals, or convenience. A private plaintiff needs special injury different in kind from the public. Remedies. Damages. Injunction abatement. The courts balance hardship for injunctions, especially when activity has social utility. Other high-yield torts. Misrepresentation. Intentional misrepresentation requires false material fact, scienter, intent to induce reliance, actual justifiable reliance, and damages. Negligent misrepresentation usually requires duty in a business or professional context. Interference with contract. Defendant knows of a valid contract and intentionally causes breach or disruption, resulting in damages. Interference with prospective economic advantage requires wrongful conduct beyond competition in many jurisdictions. Defamation. California follows constitutional requirements and recognizes statutory privileges, including broad litigation privilege for communications connected to judicial proceedings. California also has anti-SLAPP statutes in practice, But unless the exam asks procedure, analyze substantive elements. Privacy. California recognizes common law and constitutional privacy interests. The state constitutional privacy right can apply beyond government actors in some contexts, but bar tort questions usually use common law privacy elements. Nuisance. California Civil Code recognizes nuisance as anything injurious to health, indecent or offensive to senses, obstructing free use of property, or interfering with comfortable enjoyment. California nuisance can be public or private, and remedies may include damages and injunctive relief. Comparative responsibility. California's pure comparative fault may reduce negligence-based tort recovery. Intentional torts and intentional dignitary harms require more careful allocation and may not fit ordinary negligence comparison. Insults are not necessarily defamatory. The statement must assert or imply a factual claim harming reputation. Of and concerning can be satisfied by implication if reasonable recipients understand the statement to refer to plaintiff. Republication creates new liability. Repeating a defamatory statement is publication even if attributed to another. Actual malice is subjective awareness of probable falsity, not spite. Public disclosure of private facts requires publicity to the public or many people, not one-third person. Defamation publication can be one person. Intrusion does not require publication. The offensive invasion itself is the tort. Nuisance is not trespass. Trespass is physical invasion of possession. Nuisance is interference with use and enjoyment. Coming to the nuisance is not an absolute defense, but it affects reasonableness and remedy. Defamation questions require a constitutional fork. Ask: public official or figure. Matter of public concern? If yes, add falsity, fault, and damages limits. Then apply privileges. If a newspaper accurately reports allegations from a judicial hearing, fair report privilege may protect it even if allegations are false. Privacy questions turn on the type of invasion. If defendant used plaintiff's photo in an ad, appropriation. If defendant secretly filmed plaintiff at home, intrusion. If defendant published embarrassing true medical facts, public disclosure. If defendant falsely portrayed plaintiff as endorsing a movement, false light. Nuisance questions ask whether interference is substantial and unreasonable. Consider locality, severity, duration, social utility, suitability to location, and whether damages or injunction better fits. Note: for reputation and privacy torts, always discuss privileges and constitutional limits. Those rules often decide the case after the common law elements appear satisfied. That's it for this lesson. Download California Bar Prep on the App Store for lessons on all 14 bar subjects, practice questions, and essay frameworks. Keep studying, and good luck on the bar exam.